Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us over. We are very happy to be here and talk a little bit about digital. Well, basically, let me talk, first of all, introduce myself. I'm Daniel. I'm in charge of online marketing at Font of Bags. Font of Bags is a bag brand from Cologne, as was already said. We were founded in 2010, and we first started with one bag brand, and that grew and grew. Now it's getting quite big. But first of all, let's start with the story. What is Font of Bags? Well, basically, it's a fully bag-producing company founded by these three guys. One of him is sitting in front of me. It's Sven Oliver Pink, Florian Michalitzko, and Oliver Steinke. They found the company out of one idea that was pretty simple. And basically it was the situation that there were no really ergonomically school bags for children. It's not that the guys were having children on their own in like an age where they went to school, but they rather figured that out, and they figured out that there was a market for that. So they started building the first ergonomical school backpack, and somehow they turned out to be a pretty big success. So out of that, we grew. So from 2010 till now, as was already mentioned, we are already not like 180 people now, generate quite some revenue, and it's not one bag brand, but rather 7. And it's not only kids brands, but also lifestyle and also fashion. That's why we are here today. So let's see some of the brands. This is one of our latest brands. It's Affenzahn. It's a backpack for kindergarten, already like allowed for children from age 1. So also for the very smallest, we have a bag there. Ergobag, that's the brand we started with, and still one of our biggest brands. Then there's also Setch, which is also one of our biggest brands. It's rather for the older children, so from the 4th, 5th grade till, let's say, 7th, 8th grade. Then there's Ever, which is also one of our newest brands. I rather find this picture a little bit annoying, to be honest. I don't know, maybe I've got a dirty mind, but anyways. Now I got your attention. One of our brands we are with here on Fashion Week in Berlin, it's Ping Pong. And that is one of our most digital brands, the same as Ever also. AEP, one of our latest brands, rather focused on people like us here in the room. And then there's Offermann. And we are also here with Offermann on Fashion Week, so maybe you can have a look later in Hall 5. So basically, what do I want to talk about? It's not the brands, it's not only the company, but rather how we tackle our digital challenges. As a manufacturer of bags, we do not only rely on our big networks of external retailers that we work with for many years. So that's basically the biggest pillar that we work with in terms of distribution. We really rely on that. We are happy to have a really strong relationship with many of them. And that is something that really counts for us. So for us, it's not the challenge to somehow do everything online. That's not the thing that we're actually doing. We're really trying to combine everything. That was already said before. It's not about just providing a digital experience for the customer. It's to combine both worlds. So we have to combine the retail world and the online world. And that's maybe the biggest challenge that we are facing. At the same time, of course, we do online sales, we do online marketing, but basically, well, the combination of both worlds, that's the biggest challenge. But let me give you 7 thoughts on digital and what our biggest challenges are, and also to how we kind of solve that. I don't want to show you like best practices or want to say that this is the way to go or this is the way you can do it right. It is the way that we did it, and somehow I think it worked out for us, so maybe that is inspiring, or maybe you have some ideas afterwards. In any ways, I would be happy to hear your thoughts afterwards. Well, one of the most important thoughts on on digital is always the know-how. When you think about internalizing or externalizing digitalization, e-commerce, then one of the most important factors is knowledge and know-how. Basically, when you first start as a brand, you want to do e-commerce, you don't know nothing about e-commerce. Well, that's an easy one. But should then you go and go to someone who knows e-commerce and tell them, hey, please do e-commerce for me because I don't understand it. I wouldn't do that. You first of all have to understand what is e-commerce, how does it work, what are the most important factors. Also online marketing. What is it about? Is it about going to Facebook and buying as much traffic as possible? Maybe. That's a part of it. There's a lot of other aspects. And you somehow should figure out how the general stuff works. So that's the first thought. The second thought is, when you think about digital, it really opens up a new world. It opens up a very close way to your customer. So you really have the direct contact to the customer. Whether it's B2B or B2C, doesn't really matter. In both ways, we work with our customers. For instance, we have a partner shop where we work with B2B customers. On the other hand, we have brand shops to get in touch with all the B2C customers. In any ways, you will have customers in the end getting in touch with you, giving you feedback on Facebook, on email, on every channel that works. And you should rather listen to them because it's a real big opportunity. You can learn a lot from them and you can loop it back into your product development. You can loop it back into your support department in every corner of the company and you can improve it very much. The same with your team members. When you think about internalizing or externalizing, if you have an external agency taking care for e-commerce and online marketing, then there will be, well, maybe different cities where you're based. Maybe the agency is based in Berlin, you're based in Cologne. So you have to get on the phone every time you want to talk to them. Anyways, there are a lot of barriers. When you internalize digital and e-commerce, you have the people around. You can make sure that everyone is talking to each other. So also the e-commerce guys or the online marketing guys, they even talk to the salespeople or to the support team. Isn't that great? I think it is. I love to go to our support people and talk to them, ask them questions, give them feedback also, and the other way around. Working and optimizing continuously. If you build an e-commerce shop, usually what an agency does is they come over, they get all the briefings and stuff, and they get all the CI, and then they build a shop, and they hand it over, and then it's delivered, done. That's actually not how e-commerce works in online. It's something that is continuously improving. You have to really measure, you have to figure out how the stuff works, what does not work, and believe me, there's a lot that does not work at the beginning. So first of all, you start with something, and most of it won't really work. So the thing that will be delivered by an agency won't mostly work. So you then have to go and optimize it continuously to really get something out of that. And that's what we try to do. We try to start measuring, and then when we figure out there's potential to optimize, then we do that. I think it's very hard to do that with external partners. Then there's the thing about loyalty. If you have a freelancer or an agency, well, they are loyal to their agency, or a freelancer is loyal, first of all, to himself and to his own business. Maybe yes, some other customers, so you're not the only one. You're not getting the one and only loyalty of that person. If you have people on board and they care about their own jobs and they feel respected and they have space, freedom to decide on their own, then they will be very loyal to you and your company, your brand, and they put all the effort into making it really great. So that's why we believe in having people on board, specialists for digital, that just do the best they can. Well, hire better than yourself. Yeah, that's very important, especially when you do something new where you don't know nothing about. I mean, you should have people on board that know more about what has to be done, the challenge that has to be tackled, than you might know yourself. So that's also a very important thought on digitalization. Try to figure out, to find out the people who are really best in what you want to do, and then, well, get them on board. Recruiting is the next thing. Of course, it's very difficult to find the digital people in general, but also people willing to come over, to join your team, and to build something from scratch, especially if there's nothing there yet. Well, but be creative about that. Don't only go to a headhunter and pay them tons and tons of money and still not get the right people, or maybe the ones that were not so loyal with the last employer. But rather do something creative. So organize events, or for instance, what we do is we have developer meetups where the developers come over and they exchange ideas with our developers, just because they think that's fun. Or we have hackathons, or we have roundtables where we talk about a specific topic, or we get people over, whatever, politicians, creative people, well, people who are well known, and we invite them to talk about whatever they do. And that's inspiring people. People come over and they like to do that. So for us, that's a really big chance to hire people. And I think it's only one of 1,000 ideas that you could do. That's basically it. I would like to thank you very much for the invite again. And yeah, if you have questions, just come over and talk to me later. Thanks.